We focus on Bible prophecy each week for about 5 minutes. We call it a prophecy update, for lack of a better term. We are futurists who believe that all of the unfulfilled prophecies in the Bible will yet be fulfilled literally and just exactly the way all the Old Testament and earlier prophecies were fulfilled. It's about 2,000 prophecies that have been fulfilled to the letter. About 500 remain. Most of those obviously talk about the further end times from now, but lots to talk about whenever we look at Bible prophecy. The prophet Isaiah wrote in Isaiah 17, verse 1, "The burden against Damascus, behold, Damascus will cease from being a city, and it will be a ruinous heap." Damascus has been destroyed several times throughout its history. Students of Bible prophecy have interpreted this verse to mean that there will be one final destruction of Damascus in the last days, and then that city will cease to exist. So from reading that, from our perspective, you'd expect there would be turmoil in Syria, and that's quite an understatement. There's been a civil war in Syria for the last 7 years, with different groups trying to seize control of the country. More than 500,000 people are dead, and there are close to 7 million refugees. It's been a new development. Turkey has launched military operations in Syria. According to news sources, I quote, "Turkey has launched a military operation in northern Syria," Turkish President Erdogan said Wednesday after the Trump administration announced its decision to pull U.S. troops out of the area. Erdogan wrote on Twitter, where all real news happens, according to that site's translation feature, "Our aim is to destroy the terror corridor, which is trying to be established on our southern border, and to bring peace to the region." Now, Erdogan has made public his claims to be the head of a new Islamic empire, a caliphate. A Turkish journalist wrote this, "Having been voted in as president in 2015 and brought the country to an executive presidential system last year, Turkish President Erdogan has earned the title of Caliph. The title was originally bestowed on the successors of the Muslim prophet Muhammad, and caliphs were considered the rightful leaders of all the Muslim people. Over centuries, the title has been claimed by political leaders of Muslims, terrorists, sometimes in parallel to one another. The title was claimed by Ottoman Sultan Murad I in 1517 and held by his successors until after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire in the early 20th century. So Erdogan sees himself as the leader of the Muslim world. A 2018 article in a Turkish paper described the regime's desire to form what they call an army of Islam to attack and destroy the state of Israel. The article calls on the 57 member nations of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation throughout the Muslim world to join forces against the Israeli occupiers, who would be vastly outnumbered and unable to defend their country. And so we're reading the Bible, we read about Damascus and Syria. As far as this coalition of nations against Israel, you can read about that in Ezekiel 37 and 38. I'm not saying that this is that being fulfilled, but it's what you would expect to be happening in the world based on a real, literal future reading of the Bible. And if anybody was confused about whether we're in the last days, they really just need to read the Bible the way they'd read any other book, and then look at the news and you'll see what's happening in the world. Now, Jesus promised that he would return to rapture the church, which involves the resurrection of the dead in Christ, and then the snatching away of all living believers to heaven. We'll be in heaven with the Lord for the 7-year Great Tribulation, and then we will return with him at the end of that in the second coming to establish his kingdom on the earth. So the question I ask each week, same question, but it's heartfelt, are you ready for the rapture? If not, get ready and stay ready and keep looking up, because ready or not, Jesus is coming.